Casey, we are live, and we are here for some AI Ketchup. Are you excited?
All right. I'm stoked. Let's do this, man. In our first time.
So
together and finally get it out there.
We do, absolutely. Casey, I like to think that we're a little bit like ketchup and mustard. What do you say?
A good mixture or a bad mixture depends upon who you're asking.
Maybe you're more like relish. I don't know. So there's no such thing as being caught up with AI. Would you agree with that?
Well, it's funny that you say that because I feel like we had this conversation just like 5 minutes ago, and I was like, Darren, like I just every day I'm looking at this AI news. There's people at work that are using it in different ways, and I'm always like, I feel like way behind, and I get completely lost and like it says drowning. Even though I feel like I know a lot, I'm still drowning.
I have to say I don't think a lot of people realize this, but even the guys who are the pioneers in the industry, there's an example of Andrew Karpathy. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name right, but he was Elon Musk's main AI guy, and he just took a job with Anthropic, and he's the guy that coined the term vibe coding. And what he posted on Twitter, or no, it's X, just a few months ago, is that he feels like he's behind, and he's the one that's teaching and showing everybody and like leading them. That he's created so many amazing GitHub repos that help people out with AI, and he says that he feels like he's being left behind. So that tells you we all feel that way, and
right.
I think that's the spirit of what we're trying to do here, right?
Well, right, and it actually is kind of like a segue to something that I've used it for, because we're talking about how we feel and like our feelings and how we're feeling drowned, because there's just so much stuff that like we feel like it's on our shoulders. I have used AI to kind of like I guess like a therapist a little bit, because guess what? I'm human. A lot of guys won't admit this, but like I have feelings, I have thoughts, I get upset at things, I get sad about things. I have feelings that I feel like I need to work on about my communication with those feelings. And I started using AI a couple of years ago to as a therapist-ish. And it said, I don't want to be your therapist. It gave all the disclosures and everything. But one of the main reasons was at work, there was some people that that were difficult communicators. There's a lot of different levels of people I talk to at work. And so I'm like, well, how can I improve the way that I go about this? Like with an email or with an IM, or how do I go about just going into a meeting and having somebody that I know is going to say no to me? And then it went from there all the way to, hey, how can I communicate with my wife better? And so I started putting together, I don't know if you want to call it an app or whatever, because this was a couple of years ago. So I started putting something together in ChatGPT at the time of like, hey, how can I communicate better with my wife? I want positive note. I want this. I want to have like, can you help me with a schedule? Can you help me with a script? Those types of things. And we do this almost every single week. We have that time where we sit down, we talk about the things that we enjoyed of the week, things that could be improved, and then like, what our future looks like. How can we help on those? And I, in talking to you about that a couple of years ago, not 2 or 3 months ago, you said we should build an app. We should do this. Like we should put that together. And
I still want to do it.
Yeah. So, and I think that's something that I have like the idea, and like I have, I can go to Claude, I can go to whatever, but like that's why I always feel like when I go to you, it's like I'm not drowning as much. Like I have, like you're there with a live preserver and saying, hey, like your idea is not too big. It's actually a lot easier than you think.
I appreciate that, Casey.
No, man, you're the best. Like you're top notch at this stuff, and like if anybody's listening, this guy, he's the one that you should listen to. He's in this stuff all the time. He understands it well, and he doesn't just know the concepts. He digs into it. He does the code. Like
now, don't make me blush here on the show. I don't like to blush, but no, you knocked my socks off when for those of you who aren't familiar, this is our first episode, so nobody's familiar with us, right? We met back in year 2001, and we worked at a place in Central Illinois, and it was a very interesting place to work at. But
interesting,
actually, there were a couple places we worked together that were really interesting.
That's true.
So we're both computer programmers, software developers, web developers. I mean, we go by many names, right? But you were visiting from Illinois, and I'm down here in Orlando, and we met up, and we started. The first thing I was telling you, it's like, oh, do you record all your conversations, like meetings and things? Because what I like to do is I like to take the transcripts, throw it into AI, and it's like, hey, let me know all the takeaways and all the action items that I need to do. Because the last thing I want to do is meet with my boss or a client and like, okay, what's the status on X and Y? And like,
Yeah, you get kind of like, oh crap, with the transcript, you can at least like review it inside of AI, and like you can get the notes, you can get the dates, you can get the whatever. And it's so funny that like when this was, I think it was last year, like in Orlando that we met when I was at a conference. We met again this year, but I had at the point in time, I had just like one of those old school like recorders, like where you just put it in like the room and it would record, the meeting or whatever. And by old school, like I bought it on Amazon for like $50 or something. Like it had like certain transcripts, but you had the Plod thing, and you're like, oh, hey, like this is what I'm using. And it was after that point in time you showed me the transcript, and it had like all of these just like things that we talked about, obviously, but it had like, what was it? The mind
map. Oh, the second brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were at a restaurant, and I'm like, do you record things? I'm like, so I pulled out one of them. I actually have two of these. These are from Plod. If anybody's interested, I can put the link down below. But what it does is it records things, and then you sign. You have the app on your phone, and it synchronizes it. I'm like, hey, let me record this meeting, and then we had like a 3-hour. We were at the restaurant, and we hung out there here in Orlando for a good 2 or 3 hours, and we talked about all kinds of stuff. And then I sent you the not only the transcript, but the full analysis of all the topics we talked about, and included a mind map and everything like that. What was your response? I know it was like a little over a year ago.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it in this podcast, but I had some expletives like come out like, holy, like, dude, this blows my mind. Like I've taken transcripts before and then put it in, again, at the time, ChatGPT, and I'm like, can you summarize this meeting? But it never really got it very good. It was always, it missed things. And one thing I noticed is like some of the negativity actually, like maybe in it, it didn't pull that through. So you're missing out on some pieces of it. But with the Plod transcript and the Plod like meeting summary, like two friends talking, man, it hit like all the good notes, even some of the things, because friends talk about things, they're not always positive. There's things that we go through in life, and we talked about those things, and it handled it really well. It wasn't like, I hate this person or whatever. It was like, there's some difficulties in this thing going on. They discussed these things, and looking back, just, as friends, again, like, we can use this for work and everything, but as friends, it gave us like a really good thing that we've actually gone back on many times. We're like, oh, who was that person we were talking about? And even catching up like with you, because we see each other once or twice a year, it's like I want to kind of look through and like, it's so much more fun to have a fuller context to the things we talked about. And oftentimes when people are talking, you might talk about something, for a short period of time, and the next thing comes up, but you didn't cover that thing that you really want to talk about. So it gives you an area to go back to.
Absolutely. So I would regard that as one of my secrets. Maybe I should have like a top 10 list of what my secrets are, or we'll create a list of what our secrets are, because you shared some stuff with me that just blew my socks off. That in that meeting a year ago, you were telling me that I'm just going to be real here. I think authenticity is really downplayed these days. Everybody's on, social media, taking the best photos and putting their best front forward. I think it's something of high value that you're real and you're authentic. So I've been married for 9 years, and I have a previous marriage of 14 years. And marriage isn't always, I don't know how to
Journey.
it's like that. Sometimes it's messy.
It's sometimes it's got a road that you go down and there's nothing at the end of it, or there is a cliff, and like you're like, what do I do? Like that. I think anybody can agree with that. That's been in any long-term relationship. That it's always. I'm trying to think of. There's a famous like poem out there. It's like the road less traveled.
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes the easiest path to get to something is not always the best path. The one that you're traveling, it's got some bumps along the road, some trees, some cliffs, whatever, that ends up actually being the better route, because you learn so much more from adversity and like issues that come up. And if there's anybody out there that, like you said, I'm putting my best foot forward and like this is my life on social media, like they're fooling everyone and they're fooling themselves. And I think between the two of us, we're not trying to fool anybody and being anybody different than who we are. And I think that's like what's great.
Absolutely. I mean, I can give so many examples, just general about life, not only marriage, but just family in general, dealing with either loss or divorce or, these things that, it's not really something that you want to. I mean, sometimes people do go on Facebook and talk about these really difficult times. But so just thinking about this live stream, this podcast, this episode here, we were planning on going live around 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. your time. And it took another 2 or 3 hours to get it going, and that's because you can't do a live stream without a thumbnail. I mean, and like other things, like a camera that works. I've got a nice camera. It didn't want to work tonight. The microphone almost didn't want to work. I mean, just all kinds of issues, time, over and over again, all these different things. But I wanted to sort of hone in on this, and we could have a whole episode just on the goal that you shared with me, which was, I think you called it CR
connection point.
And I'm going to let you share any and all details that you want to share. I don't want to share something that you didn't feel comfortable airing on a live podcast. Okay. But I'll tell, I won't say what you said. I'll leave that to you to say, but the effect, you essentially systematically took something that affected your mind, your heart, your emotions, your smiles and cries, that come and go every day. And you reached out to AI for help with this, and it gave you good advice. It gave you like something constructive that you could do. And if you were to say on a scale from 1 to 10, how much that affected your relationship, it sounded like it was like an 8 to 10 of like, it sort of transformed things. Like it was something big that really helped the situation. But you go ahead.
No, for sure. And it also, it helped me understand just communication in general, like across like a lot of different channels, and I can get into that. But as far as how I was feeling is like we had just recently lost a dog that was like, I mean, she was up in her older years, but we had lost that dog, and it was really a tough time between the both of us. And I shut down. I wasn't communicating as much, and she was trying to do all the communication, but it just ended up into these areas where I ended up feeling kind of down and like whatever. So I also didn't want to go out. It was actually during COVID, so it's like you couldn't even go out and see anybody. And I was just like, I don't want to see a therapist. I just want to talk to someone. So I was like, well, why not try AI? So that's what I did. I worked out a few things on my own, but then it came down to like, how can I communicate better with my wife? And I got a lot of really good advice coming back. I know some people have gone and gotten good advice, and now there's a lot of studies that show that ChatGPT in particular is too agreeable with you, where it's like, oh yeah, it's all good, stop taking your meds. That's a wonderful thing, and that's led to really bad things, bad results. That somebody really needs meds, and GPT is saying, nah, don't worry about it. Like, you seem fantastic, and then something bad happened. It wasn't like that with this, so you have to take some of these things with a grain of salt and use your own brain. And like one of the things is like with my wife, I'm just like using my intelligence. Like, am I like my intelligence, not AI? It's mine. Like, you got to use that sometimes. You can't just take it for what it is. But to get back to the feedback and
You're cutting out a little bit.
what it came up with was, hey, I don't like that. It actually went through and it figured out like a process. So there is a structure to it. And the bigger thing for me was when we would get into something about something we were unhappy about, she was or I was, it would get bigger and bigger, and it would get worse. Like things would escalate, and I I can't. Once it escalates, like I shut down. So this structure just was something where I talked with her. We went back and forth about it. Like, hey, like, does this work for you? Does that work for you? And I can just give you like a loose like structure of it, because again, like I am really thinking about your idea of like building an app for this, because I think it could be super helpful for so many different people. But here's kind of the structure. So it's like you start with, and the time limit. So like that was the other part of it. Like I feel really? Just like anybody that ever goes into meetings, like if you're at that hour point and it goes past that, my mind is like, oh my God, like can you just be quiet and like stop? Like we could put this in the parking lot. We'll talk about it later. So there is kind of a parking lot.
What's the longest meeting that you've been in? I've never worked at a place and it goes past 2 hours or 3.
Well, dear, I know that, for example, you've been in one that's lasted all into the wee hours of the night.
Oh, that's true.
At one of the places that we worked.
One of the places we worked at. Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to throw you off your thing. I just had to bring that up.
You're all good. So yeah, like at my current job, like, sometimes meetings do go a little bit longer. It's understandable a little bit if there's a lot of things to discuss, but I do feel like there is like something that should just like time the way you talk about things and give you and your partner or whoever the opportunity to talk about them. But it's the structure. So just the opening is like 5 to 10 minutes. You give some gratitude or positivity. Like, hey, I really appreciated how you made time for dinner. There's kind of a weekly review of like good moments. There's a prompt of like, hey, what moments were good for us? What challenges or concerns? Give examples. The one important part is you should listen actively. You don't interrupt. You need to validate each other. Have any clarifications in that time? And then there's the next structure is like improvement and problem solving. So you get a certain amount of time for that as well. So you just focus on the areas where improvements could be made. You figure out things collaboratively. And then the last part, and I think that this should happen in every meeting. I know it doesn't because it's like maybe a little awkward, but it's an appreciation of like each other. So like you started out with positivity, you got into the work, and then you at the end are like, I appreciate you sharing that with me. And then it's like something that's successful, something that can be repeatable. And the more that you go through it, the more that you do it, the more prompts that you maybe get that can improve it, then I think it only leads to better communication. Because my thoughts is communication is the most important thing that we have in order to connect ourselves to other people. And this can go from like your relationship at home with your kids, with your dog, I don't know, all the way into work with the people you interact with every day.
Absolutely. I think there's an important distinction here that may not be completely obvious, but because I've known you for so long, and based on what you had brought up a few minutes ago, you said you're not using this AI as your brain. It's your brain, it's your thoughts, and you use AI Ketchup to take your idea and take it to the next level. That's how I use AI as well. And I think there's a big mistake for people to stop thinking and just allow AI to do the thinking for them. So I've known you for a while, and I could probably bring up things that you don't even remember telling me. I remember, and there's like little things that have impressed me about your character, knowing you over the last 20 years. One of the things was that you used to coach Little League football, I think. And
Junior football league.
Yeah, and you said you never want to stop somebody like, hey, you didn't throw that pass right, or hey, you didn't do this right. You give them a compliment sandwich. First of all, you tell them something good about themselves, or I'll allow you to do it because you're going to do it much better than me.
Yeah, no, so that's definitely, yeah. So I coached, so I played football back, I started in my 8th grade year. I was actually a cross country runner before, and I'm a big guy, and I started weightlifting. And my mom was always like, hey, I don't want you to hurt your brain. Very smart back then, but I ended up just excelling in football. And after college, I was unable to play anymore, so I started coaching junior football league because I wanted to pass upon me what a lot of my leaders and people I looked up to before. And so one of the things was the compliment sandwich. So what that is there's the 2 pieces of bread, and there's the meat in the middle of it. And the meat in the middle is like kind of what they did wrong. But you want to kind of have the softness of the bun on top and the bun on bottom. So you start out like, hey, that was a lot of hustle. It was great. But hey, you didn't tackle him right. You didn't pull them down. And then at the end, you just kind of say something. So like, I know you can do this. Like, you're a great athlete. So like, let's hit that. So it's kind of the thought of, I think there's science behind it, but it's like one negative thing. It takes like 10 positive things to like actually make you feel better about it. This is at least 2 positives and, maybe 1 negative, but it's how you frame it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so much more of a human way or a compassionate way to deal with somebody, to do that. So, I've known this stuff. I mean, that was literally actually over 20 years ago, like 25 years.
Yeah, it would have been like 24 years ago. 20,
So you have all this life experience. I mean, even then, I don't know exactly how old you were at the time, 2001, 2002, but yeah, you're bringing.
We're really,
what's that?
We're dating each other now. People are going to be like, "Oh, how old was he then?"
We've been friends longer than some people have had marriages.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, you bring that to the table, and then you have AI sort of magnify what it is that you're bringing to it. So you created a whole structure. Now, do you feel free enough to tell us the result of what that had on your relationship?
Um, well, at first it was a little like there's hesitation, right? Because like you are opening yourself up, and you do have to change the way that you're talking about something when you're upset about it. So like you have to like keep that composure and keep that calm, and also the other person, they need to do the same thing. But when you're talking about like in the challenges area, like you only have a certain amount of time to talk about it. So like that was something that's like, to me, like you just go on and on and on and on when you get upset about something, or only one person talks and the other one just, does whatever.
Yeah.
Um, Over time, with us doing that, I mean, again, like I did not look forward to it. I knew it was something. It's like kind of like going to the gym. Like I don't necessarily like look forward to going there, but like once I'm done, I feel better and I'm stronger. This was the same way as like I didn't look forward to it because who wants to like discuss that like challenges you're having or something that happens during the week. But
Yeah.
like those are the things that like get like you push down or people push down, and they end up like they're still there. They don't go away, and they end up bursting out in ways that like are not effective or appropriate or what you want to say or do. So the long term of it, 6 months it started to get better. Into a year, it was like this. I actually started to look forward to it because there were so many things that we had like deep down that like we hadn't discussed with each other, or just like simple things like you're leaving your stuff in the sink like with water in it. Like it's not meant to soak there overnight. Like just get it and do something. Like that's just an example. But like
we may not make really good roommates, man. I always soak all my dishes, and they just sit there. It makes me feel good that they're soaking.
Oh man, I couldn't handle it. No way. I would be like, "You're out, Daryl. Get out of here."
Daryl. We have so many stories to tell.
I know his name's Darren. That's an inside joke that we can get into maybe some other time. Cliffhanger.
Yeah. So anyway, my offer still stands. Hopefully that you'll take it up. You'll be the third, I guess, business partnership that I create with somebody who has either an idea for an app, or they already have something. You already have something that works, So I would take that. I would do all the technical work. I would do all the programming. I'd do all the websites, everything. You go off, create the corporation, create a partnership, and create an app. I mean, now's the time to be creating apps. Now is the time for the idea, man. You got all these guys. Remember what Office Space?
Yeah.
There was this guy had an idea like, oh look, I'm going to create a mat that says "jump to conclusions," which is hilarious. But
yeah,
right?
Great movie, by the way.
What's that? Oh,
great movie, by the way.
If you guys haven't seen that, go.
If you ever work in the Office Space, that's the one that started before The Office, like the series The Office. You got to go watch Office Space. It still holds
absolutely.
up.
And they take
Ron Livingston.
What was that?
Jennifer Aniston, Ron Livingston, I think.
Yeah, it was a classic movie. But they ended up taking a Xerox machine, or a copier, took it out to a field or a meadow, and just like took out their aggression on it. That's a little bit of something to look forward to in the movie, I guess. That and Michael Bolton was in the movie. So if you guys know, who Michael Bolton was, he's in the movie.
Well, Mike Judge is the one that created it, so Mike Judge is amazing. And
he's the guy who created Beavis and Butthead, I believe, right? Or am I thinking about somebody else? Yeah. I remember Beavis and Butthead in my 20s. I love that show for some strange reason. But
it's back.
So Beavis and Butthead?
Yeah. Yeah, no, he did like King of the Hill, Office Space. Idiocracy, which is an awesome movie that people should like watch, and it's funny because like it's I think 500 years in the future, like, really stupid, but like it's actually like interesting because what they're trying to do in that movie, they're trying to find the smartest person in the world to be the president, and now they don't really do that, right? Like,
right. Yeah. So how else do you I should probably get back to the slides I spent so much time on, but what I was trying to bring up was what I had heard before was relationships and counseling was number one by far, and maybe it goes into practical guidance, but and I use so let's talk about our main tools that we use. I use Claude through and through. I love it. I use a few other tools, but I would say 80% of what I use is Anthropic's Claude in some form. That's either on the web, through chats, through Cowork, Claude Code, and I use a little bit of Manus for something if I need something really quick and no other AI can understand what I'm trying to do, it will create it. It's extremely expensive, or I should say, it goes through the credits very quickly, so you can't use it every day, or at least I can't for what I give it. And so I use a little bit of everything, but I always come back to Anthropic and Claude. What about you? I think you had told me you're using ChatGPT for your connection app or solution, whatever you call it.
Yeah. So it was probably, I guess, 2 or 3 years ago when I started using ChatGPT. It was the popular one. I built it up. I had the custom prompts in it. You know, everything I was trying to like get it to give me in the way that I wanted. And I would say maybe about 6 months ago, I mean, there was many different ones that I tried, but like about 6 months ago, I got just a $20 Claude account, and I just started kind of playing around with it. And one of the things that I was looking at was like building, like I had already built a PowerPoint for a presentation that I did at a conference, and I did that in trying to think of Mana. I think it's Mana. Yeah.
You're talking about Manus or something else?
No. Let me think. Gamma. So GAMMA. So that's like an AI PowerPoint presentation tool. It's really great. Like I actually used that with an old PowerPoint that I had just built. Yeah, that's the one.
Cool.
So what you can do with Gamma is you can actually go in there. You can type in, "Hey, I want to do this presentation on this, this, and this," and it will build out the presentation for you. It will give you like content that you like. The slides look really beautiful. You can put in whatever you want. You can have templates. You can just say, "Hey, I want it to look like this."
And you're holding out on me, man. You got stuff to share with me you never shared with me, man. I'm a little upset. You talk me up, I know all kinds of stuff, and you don't even share this. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, here it is, man. This is where it's at, like where we can share these ideas, and hopefully others can grab onto them. So yeah, Gamma. You can go into the images that it creates. You can like say I want a different image. You can say I want all these things to change. It's a fantastic tool. So when I first built this presentation for it was a presentation at work that I started with. I did it in PowerPoint, and then I just used AI to get the graphics that I wanted, but I could not for the life of me keep the same graphics. I couldn't keep the same scenery. I couldn't keep the same like topic. I couldn't keep it uniform. as soon as I did in Gamma, it did all that for me. But then when I was going to my most recent conference, when I saw you down in Orlando, I was playing around with Claude a lot more. So I thought, well, why don't I just take the Gamma presentation, throw that, and it makes PowerPoints for you, PDFs, whatever. Why don't I throw that into Claude and have Claude like see what Claude does? And what I've found is, I will get your question and the answer to it, but that's when I saw the power of Claude and how it took what Gamma built, and then I started building it actually within Claude, and Claude was getting it better than Gamma did.
Oh, okay.
But I feel like the best thing you can do sometimes is get an answer from one, take that answer, and then go to the other one and say, hey, like, I want you to look at this answer that ChatGPT gave me, Claude. What do you think about that? So I'm a Claude fan now too. We do have an enterprise license at work, which makes it a lot better. So like our tokens, I do still run out of them a lot, but like I think it resets after every 5 hours and then you get more. But like those are the top two that I used. The other one, when I was at a conference that somebody told me about, was Perplexity Pro. There is like a free account for Perplexity, which is kind of similar to what you said with your Manus. Like it's like a quick, gives you a good answer like real quick. It's more like Google when you just want like 2 or 3 sentences. That's what Perplexity does. I know it's more of a research model, but one of the cool things why I have Perplexity Pro, and I'm not paying for it, is there was a deal through Venmo. If you're a Venmo customer, you get it for a year. I don't know if that still is going on now, but hey Venmo, you want to like sign me up?
I think you told me about that. I'm like, really? And I tried to sign up, and I think they ended it back in December. But that was a good deal.
So in general, I love Perplexity as well, but it's just for a different thing. And then, like I was saying, I bounce ideas off of them. So my top 3 are Perplexity, ChatGPT still, because it has so much of my history. And then Claude is what I'm using 95% of the time, and not just for work stuff, like many, many, many other things. It looks like you just built your presentation in Gamma in what, 2 minutes?
Yeah, this is great. This is what I should have done, because I created slides, and they're nice and colorful, but I only had 4 of them, and we had really more to talk about than what was just on those 4 slides. So this is perfect. Now, how much does something like this cost? Now, you probably would advise somebody just use Claude. Is that what you would advise?
Claude doesn't build it out like Gamma does. Gamma, like they're specifically like using it's a presentation AI, like for sure, and I think that they do it better. But I think you can build it out in Claude pretty well now. I think Claude or Anthropic they're just knocking it out of the park with everything, and they want to kind of absorb all these other like businesses. But the last thing that I didn't share is once I finished in Claude building it the way I wanted to, I brought it back into Gamma, and then I said, hey Gamma, I want you to make this look more uniform. I want you to like make this like do all the things that you do. And it did it. It did change my presentation completely. Over like 2 days, I was able to do that though. And I did the same presentation twice. I feel like the second time it went better than the first, because the graphics, the things that it built that were on the screen, I feel like it grabbed the audience more, and it didn't have as much words, like which also like in presentations, like this doesn't give you, a whole page of like paragraphs. It like gives the top things, and it gives you talking points.
So one of the tools that I use, I think I mentioned this before, this is Manus, and I can share a link with that. I think you get a little bit of a trial or maybe a discount if you use this. I'll include that. But disclaimer, they're not paying me anything. Now they do give me, let's see what it is. If I open this up, I think they give me free 500 credits, and whoever I refer gets it. But guys, this is an amazing tool. And you mentioned that you go to Claude, but then you take that and you come back. So you're like synergizing these different tools. And that's what I do too. So that's another great tip and trick working with AI is you can't just, pick one and just stick with. I mean, I guess you could, but if you want the best results, you should use them in conjunction with each other. Now, Manus is great as long as you can afford it. And I've been on the $200 a month plan, and I would use up all the credits. And at that point, I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to find some other options here. But one of the things I do, I create slide decks with these. So this is one that I created based on some images. Let's see what this would do. It created a skill. Oh, that's another piece of information, right? So I think we've had a discussion about skills, and they're amazing. And I want you to talk about how amazing you think they are. But here's one of the tricks that I do is after I get it to do something, I say, hey, create a skill so I never have to ask you to do this type of thing again. And
that's the bomb, because everybody's always talking about, like, I've gone to like mini conferences and it's like, oh, this is how you prompt it. This is, what is it you're looking for? You need to act as something. You need to like have these like things built out. That's all great advice. It's all true. But why do we need to do that every single time and like, build the perfect prompt every time? Because you're only going to get the results if the prompt is good. Well, there's this thing that Darren and I were talking about just a few months ago, and it was a skill, the prompt perfecter. And that's exactly what this is. The prompt perfecter is something that helps you get the perfect prompts to where you can type in, like Darren is right there, /prompt dash perfecter, and it will, that's invoking the skill. And then you can type in, hey, here's kind of what I was looking for. I don't know the exact prompts. Here's like what, can you help me with these? So it will actually, prompt optimizer. So it will actually help you get better prompts. It will ask questions if it needs those questions, and it will give you better results each time. And I believe there's even a rating or a ranking of how good it actually is. And you can continue to improve it. So if it's like, this is a 5 out of 10, it's like, well, I don't want a 5 out of 10. I want a 10 out of a 10. Yeah. And it will keep on going through it to get it better and better, to give you the idea of like what you're looking for.
On this information.
Mighty man of valor.
So that is out of the Bible. There is this guy named Gibeon, and he was hiding in a ditch, and there was this angel that showed up, and he said, mighty man of valor. He's like, what? Me? It's one of my favorite stories in the Bible. You've heard of a movie called 300, right? 300 Warriors. Well, the Bible actually has the original 300 story, and I think it's actually better. I believe that's in the book of Judges, but Google it or Perplexity that, and you'll find out more information about it. So that's where that comes from. Okay, so here I'm going to show you guys how the prompt optimizer. Now, I do call it prompt perfecter, as you called it. I don't know why. Maybe it named it this. I'm going to go back and tell it to call it that again. The slide deck. Use the style. The style that you know about, because Claude doesn't know that I'm going to take this prompt over with Manus, so it doesn't know. So that let's say that I've provided along with this prompt. The slide deck to create a fresh slide deck based on this information. And this was the video description I had for this live stream. Okay, so now if I go to the very bottom, now I do use my my
model.
motto is go big or go home. So I mean, if Fable was here, I would be using Fable, but here's 4.8, and I turn it all max. I pay them my $200 a month tax to use these great tools. I think it's worth it. I can't afford to do that for all of them, but with Claude I do. So I'll send this off, and the more you make it think, the longer it's going to take. And if you want,
and that's the other models are sometimes better to just use if you just want quick answers.
yeah, if it doesn't need all that thinking power and you just want the answer back, yeah,
Don't burn tokens either.
Now another
we should have an episode on like token optimization of like better prompts using skills like in order not to kill all the tokens, especially if you have just a $20 a month. Because once you run out of those tokens, you're really trying to get something done, then you're gonna have to pay more. Or if you optimized it, it would actually help you out.
So look at this.
Oh, look at this. Darren already has something.
Yeah, so here we're learning together, man. So we don't talk that often. I've got so much to share with you and our audience here.
See, this is what I'm saying, man. This guy, like, I think of these things and he's already got an answer.
Caveman, why use many tokens when few token do trick? I'm going to create another one. I'm going to call it Yoda talk. Perplex you are. Clock code skill that cuts 65% of tokens by talking like caveman.
Like, yeah.
So anyway, yeah, you install that and you have it use this. So you look at this paragraph here. The reason you React component is rendering blah blah blah. New object ref. So anyway, yeah, you can save on tokens. You talk about token efficiency. There you go.
I guess if you want to that's a good piggyback to Idiocracy, because in Idiocracy, that's how people talk. It's kind of like how teenagers talk now too. Like they have all the acronyms in their text, and they have that's like if we would say that's suspect, they'd be like that's sus,
right?
Like that's kind of how the caveman talk is. You're just cutting. There's actually an episode of The Office too that Kevin starts doing that, and he starts just doing little acronyms or barely saying an entire word, just pieces of it. He's like, I'm saying, and he did it like Yoda, like saving time.
Absolutely. I was thinking of actually, I think I'm either having an ADD moment or a senior moment. I'm not sure which. Sometimes I lose my train of thought in the middle of.
Maybe both.
But yeah. So one of the problems, and we have this sort of in common, in that we both have ADD or ADHD. I don't have the hyperactivity, but sometimes I'm overwhelmed with my own thoughts that are coming up. So when I'm having a regular human interaction conversation, with words, and it's live and we're having a conversation, and then inside my head there are more conversations going on. It's like I have AI agents inside my brain trying to offer up, there's a Disney movie called Inside Out. Excellent movie, by the way, that sort of models how your brain works, like psychologically, with your emotions and these different so if you've never seen it, check that out.
It's a kids movie, but it is very relevant to how people actually, like you said, it has all these little voices that are talking, and sometimes the ones are getting all fussed up, and it causes the other ones to be frozen. Are we able to chat, add anything to the chat? I see there's a chat, but I don't see a way to type anything into it.
Well, I'm going to try to type something there. Let's say hello. Yeah, I think that when I created the live stream, maybe I didn't make it public. So, I mean, I guess it does give us an opportunity to edit the video, but Yeah, that should be there.
That's
Let me see if I
fine.
can log in real quick.
I'm not able to type in it.
Let me see.
I mean, we don't need to have it. It's no big deal. But
Yeah.
I could, while
Okay.
you're looking, play the video. Am I able to share my screen on this?
Yes, you can. Now, if you want to share video, you need to share the audio as well. So what you do is when you're sharing it, there's like a little checkbox to also share your system audio. That's what you need to do.
Okay, let me cue up the video of Kevin from The Office. All right. Share my screen. Audio. Darren, were you able to hear the audio from The Office?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay.
Hey, so this isn't matching up with this, and I'm not sure which one. Can you just hunt down the original for me?
Yes, me do. All right.
Hey, Kev, what were you saying before about the paperwork?
Me do it now. Don't worry.
Kevin, do you feel okay?
Me feel good. Body strong. Sleep big last night.
Yeah, I think we should get him to the hospital.
Yeah, all right, Kev, why don't you come with us?
No,
guys.
he's fine.
He's fine.
He's always been like that.
No, he hasn't.
I mean, he's gotten worse over the years.
He's making a statement. It's an ironic comment on our expectations of him. A funhouse image of our model of Kevin.
You keep think that. Me mechanic not speak English, but he know what me mean when me say car no go, and we best friends. So me think why waste time say lot word when few word do trick.
Kevin, I appreciate what you're trying to do.
Thank.
Here, we have a word code, the same way we have a dress code. And what we're talking about is basically the speech equivalent to just wearing underpants. Sometimes words need use, but need for talk.
But save time. More success.
Does it save time, though? Because we've been here for about an hour.
No me fault.
Kevin, at most, you're saving a microscopic amount of time.
Many small time make big time.
And what are you going to do with all this time?
See world.
Kevin, you can't possibly save enough time to see the world.
Kevin, are you saying see the world or sea world?
Sea world. Oceans. Fish. Jump.
Okay.
China.
No, see? Right there. That's the problem with your method, because I still don't know if you're saying sea world or see the world, and it's taken a lot of time to explain it.
Fine. I'll talk normally. When me president, they see.
That was good.
So now I'm thinking actually there's a lot that shows us, right? Like sometimes if you talk like a caveman, maybe to AI, like you said, maybe it makes sense and it saves tokens, but with Kevin's example, AI might get confused.
That's true.
Because it needs details. It needs a better prompt, and Kevin wasn't able to do it.
Yeah. So what you need to do is use a very cheap, inexpensive model that will do the translation between you and, let's say, Claude Fable 6.0, because it's so expensive. So you turn it into Caveman, and then you tell it to respond in Caveman, and then you use that cheap model. There is something I don't think we've ever had the conversation, Casey. Google has released a model you can install on your phone. It's called Gemma 4. You can install it on a laptop. It doesn't have to have a video. If you have a video card, it can make use of that. It can be better, but you could run it all locally, and it's free, and you got 100% privacy. At least you would hope, right? You have to unplug the
That's what
Ethernet,
all these
okay, or turn off the
yeah,
Wi-Fi.
that's what all these companies tell us.
Nobody trusts big tech these days. You know what I mean? But yeah, you could.
It's funny too. On some of these shows, they have like the expert that's talking like to their system. There's always the little prompts like beep beep beep. Like what system actually has all those noises? It's like choo 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 choo. And then like when they go like their computer's getting invaded, they just pull that plug and like everything's fine. Like sorry, it's already got everything. They already know.
Yeah.
If you're typing a prompt or you're typing anything in and you go back and you erase that, guess what, everybody? That is already captured and that is caught. And that is in the profile that all big tech has on you.
Yeah. So
if you think, sorry, go ahead.
This is coming from a couple of maybe slightly cynical guys, but we have been working in IT for about 30 years, or if you combine it, 60 years. And we've seen, we've worked for places that spy on people's screens. So, at more than one place too. I would say both the places that we worked together, I think they were doing that.
Oh yeah. Sure. I mean, one of the places he definitely was spying the screen, like he had a screen capture software where he could just log into his computer. He could see exactly what we were doing, what we were typing, everything. The other one, I think they monitored our IMs, our emails, like all that stuff. So if you think that, like, even if your company says, oh, we're not looking at any of it, they are. Not that you should be doing anything like illegal or bad or whatever, but like sometimes you just want to say, hey, to your friend Darren, like, I don't know why Rick is like, doing this. And you're just kind of talking about something that could be taken out of context.
Absolutely. Yeah, there was one job that we worked together, and I had started there, and there weren't a lot of people in the office. A lot of them were consultants. They worked, outside the office. And there was one guy that I got to know for the first week I worked there, and then the second week he was out in the field. And I sent him an email. I'm like, wow, like nobody's in the office today. What's going on? I got an immediate call from him. And he said, hey, man, I want to call you. Just let you know, so-and-so in the organization has journaling turned on for Microsoft Exchange. He gets a copy of every email from every email box coming in or going out. And I think this guy had OCD, and he was also the owner of the company as well. So don't underestimate people. Some people value privacy. Some people are like, well, I have nothing to hide, whatever. But you also don't know about the psychology of the person that's implementing it and what they're trying to do with it. It might be sinister, it may not, but it's sort of creepy if they don't let you know about it, though. Yeah,
or it's like, like in our case, like, yeah, those were two jobs that we worked or whatever. So if it's the owner of the company, they have that right to do whatever, because it's like the software, the computers, the hardware, all that stuff they paid for. So I get that and I understand it. They want you there doing work. They don't want you there talking about Rick or like being, they want you to get the job done. So I get a little bit of that. But if you want to just take one step further of like these free apps that we get, or the disclosures that are miles long that nobody reads, they don't understand any of it. Well, what's in those it's disturbing, actually, of how much they can track on you, how much they know about you, how it's very intrusive. And maybe they're not using it, for anything that bothers you. And some people are like, oh, I don't care, I'm not doing anything illegal. Yeah. But like, there is a value to privacy. It just depends what your threshold is for privacy.
Yeah, I remember when I had hired several people in my business, and we used a tool. It's called Screeno, and what it allows them to clock in and out. And it had this feature where it would take a screenshot. And I told them, I'm like, hey, you are working in another state or out of the country or whatever. Like, sometimes I might have you do something that it may not be obvious what the value is, that type of thing. I'm like, and I tell them that in the interview. I'm like, hey, I use this tool, and it takes screenshots. It will tell you that it's taking a screenshot. So let's say you had your online baking up for a few minutes. I don't want to see your online baking or anything. However, I need to know if I'm paying you $500 for that week or 1,000 or whatever, that I can pull up, and I rarely looked at them. But if they came back to me with an application or a screen or a document and it completely missed the mark, then I could get more of a feel of maybe the direction they were going on, or whatever, or maybe they weren't. It didn't seem like they were producing much value. Well, then I would go in and look. I'm like, oh, well, their screen is blank. Like I just see their desktop. How do I know if they're doing anything? And but I think as long as you're upfront about it, that's not for everybody. I don't know if I would, I think I would do it if I needed the job and whatever. It just sort of you have to be upfront about it, and be okay with it, rather than what I don't like is when people are monitoring you and violating your privacy and you had no idea. That's where it sort of feels like a violation.
Yeah, it's a violation, and it's like they cloak it. They have the smoke and mirrors around it with just, if you agree to this disclaimer, then it's free. Nothing is free in life, people. Like, if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. They've got something. So, like, the ones that are like $5 a month, I think I can afford it. Like, most people can,
Yeah, what do they say about social media? Nothing is free.
Yeah.
And if it is, you're the product.
We are 100%. We definitely are the product. And I mean, we could have a whole nother podcast on this for sure. Privacy. And I mean, between the two of us, I think that we do have a lot of knowledge from that, based upon all the years that we've gone through software companies, the different changes, the different phases, like everything.
So this is the Manus tool that I use. If I need something really fancy, I need it really quick, I'll turn to Manus. And I think I might be on their $40 plan right now. If I go over to credits, they had a bug in there. And what's great about Manus is if you message them, and it's an AI agent that you're working with, they seem like they're human, but they're upfront about it, talking about disclosing and being transparent. I would use it. It used up all of my credits, and they didn't give me what I was looking for, so they redeemed it. So this little slide deck, that wasn't too bad. 181 credits. And I think I get
Darren, that's really cool. Do you know if like other apps have like how many credits they use based upon what you type in?
Oh yeah. In fact,
I've never seen that on any other one. Like, I know in Claude you can see like where your credits are at, or it gives you percentage, but I've never seen it like give me the load of like how much it's killing it based upon what you type or what comes back.
Yeah, let me show you
So
down.
mine right now, mine just restarted, and it says 4% used. It doesn't tell me anything of what I did.
I'll say, tell me a 100% original. Now, nobody get scared from the terminal window. It's not scary. My wife was telling me today, I'm not about that terminal stuff. I don't want to type in there. I'm like, oh, okay. I know it's scary. Told me 100% original.
This is the stuff that like I love seeing. This is the fun stuff.
Heck yeah. So I tell it to give me 100% original dad joke. Now, this is state-of-the-art model, Opus 4.8, 1 million context. And I'm going to say, it should be telling me now. There's different modes you can put it in, like verbose mode, all that type of stuff. My house plant told me it needed more space, so I moved it to a bigger pot. Now it won't stop growing on me. But bump. So I've got all these skills and another thing called hooks in place, so it gives me additional stuff. So it tells me a lot of times it overwhelms me with tons of information. I'm talking paragraphs. Like I say, like, hey, go off and do this feature, create a screen, create an app, and it comes back. And it's like, I did this and that and this, and we had this problem, but this is how we handled it, and all this stuff. And it's like, whoa, I mean, look at all this. And this is all the memory that I have like wired into it. So it remembers me from session to session. But
so as far as like getting like what the load is that it takes away, where do you see that in this?
So I used to have it displayed here, and I think I took it out because I have this right here. This is the percentage of 1 million tokens. So what I'm going to say is update our status bar. So all those 4 lines. Now the thing that says bypass permission on, that's just a mode within Claude Code. Update our status bar to the right of line 2 of the context used percentage. I don't even write any code anymore. It writes all the code, and all I do is I just talk to it in English terms. And so this is how you deal with AI. Percentage used of exactly how many tokens are being used. Could you show me the token usage in real time as well? Now I'm used to seeing that, and I've got, to show you how crazy I am about AI, I probably have 15 different computers in my home, and these are computers I built, old computers, new computers. I've got different laptops. I buy old hardware because you can run incredible stuff on $100 laptop that you pick off refurbished on Amazon or from Facebook Marketplace. Memory prices in new hardware and GPUs are so expensive. What's that?
Yeah. Thanks, data centers. Thanks, AI. Well, it's funny, like we're complaining about it, but it's like we're also like using it and burning it. But like, again, like Darren said, like there's laptops out there, there's things out there that are actually better than some of the stuff you can get right now. Like if you wanted just to buy $100 laptop off of somebody, you're not going to find a $100 graphics card that's going to do anything like that.
Yeah.
Are you working on an Alienware computer, or what's your main?
Yeah, this is an Alienware laptop that had. Now, do you notice you see 4.7K tokens? That's what I'm used to seeing. And you see it's moving up there?
Yeah,
but
so
now
it's
I'm gonna,
in real time.
Yeah, and then I'm going to have it put it here as well. Now, this is my weekly usage. I've used 35% of my weekly limit. Now, it's up to like 80%. What's that?
This is Claude?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I just want to so this is the part where I thought would be useful for us, because Darren is the master of this stuff, and I'm just learning from him. Could you talk more about the console?
Sure, absolutely. Now, when you say console, you're talking about like this terminal screen and
terminal screen. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned console because as a programmer, that's sort of what we call it, right? Like writing a console.
Yeah,
app.
that's I guess.
In a browser, you have a developer console. So,
yeah,
absolutely. So, within your Claude account, let me bring this up real quick. Claude AI new. And there's different ways that you can use Claude. Okay, so you have a Claude account. But if you're not using, here's projects. So if you wanted to remember things, like I created a project for this podcast. And then over here we have artifacts. So these are the things that it creates for you. And I don't want to open it up because I don't want to like show things for my clients.
No,
or, you know what I mean? But there's all kinds of stuff that you can do. There's design. Oh my goodness.
Which I actually just saw design pop up on my instance that I have on my personal machine, and I started looking at design. I'm like, whoa, what is this? This is cool.
I created my own website today, man. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. And I really like what it created. And that's the light mode. I sort of like the dark mode. And so I can minimize that. I've got this graph API, not graph API, that's something else. This graph, and I could double click on a page, and like it shows how all the pages are related to each other on this website, so I'll put my photo there, but I sort of made it in a way so anybody could use this for whatever. So you've got, go over to about me. I've got a side navigational pane. I've got things at the bottom like, oh, let's go to the next page. And it just traverses all throughout the site. Here's the ultimate graph. So if I minimize that, I move that down there. And I should be able to, it says scroll. So I can move this around. I can zoom in. If I use the wheel on my mouse, I can zoom in. So I did this whole thing in about an hour with Claude Design. I don't know if it looks impressive.
Okay. I'm not using it at all, but like I said, I just saw it like advertised, I guess, because I did make a website for another thing that I use AI for quite often is I have a rental property that let's just say that like this was not like something that I knew, but like I've turned into the property manager, the lease manager, the maintenance guy, the plumbing guy, the electrician guy, like anything and everything you could think of an old house that has problems. I've turned into those things, not because I wanted to, but like a little bit of like trying to save money. And I do like learning new things, but before it's like, if there's a plumbing problem or there's or electrical problem, it's like, yeah, you could Google it, you could look these things up, but like you're not looking at the exact problem. And I've used AI to like I'll take a video or be on like a live video with me where I'm talking to it, or I send it a picture or whatever. Let's say for this instance, I had an issue where there was, if you touched one light switch and you touched the other one, for whatever reason, the person did it, it shocked them. So like, whoa, that's super shocking to me. And like, I don't want to fire to heaven. I don't want to hurt the person, like whatever. I was able to like figure that out using AI and pictures and video of like finding out exactly what the issue was, fixed it myself. Having an electrician come, they're like $180 an hour now. Not that like I ever advise anybody to do their own electrical stuff. I do have a lot of background in that just through trial and error. Like I mentioned, like I've kind of had to learn some of this stuff because you don't always have an electrician like at midnight that can like do this, type of thing. But there's all sorts of different things outside of like just using it for what we've talked about. PowerPoints, for relationships, for things at work. Like there's other types of jobs that you can use it for.
Absolutely. Now I happen to be on this particular laptop. I have Arch Linux installed, and if you have either Windows or a Mac, you can install the desktop version of Claude. And inside that, you'll notice that you have access to something called Cowork. And what's nice about Cowork is they're offering a 50% discount on the tokens used. So if let's say you get the $20 plan and you're like run out of credits within an hour of your 5-hour window, and then you got to wait 4 hours to do something again, use the Cowork because you'll get twice as much usage out of that.
Hey, Darren, it looks like we have a question, our first one from Sanchit Goyal, and he's asking, or she, can you tell me out of Codex and ChatGPT Pro, Claude Pro, and Gemini Pro, which is the best for AI video generation and content creation?
Absolutely. Not only can I tell you, but I will tell you the exact right.
I knew Darren would know this. Hey, this guy. Hey, people. I don't know how many people are listening. This is my first time. I don't know what I'm doing at all. I'm just following Darren, but this guy, Darren, man, he's the real deal.
Now, I already know what answer is going to come up, but this is exactly how I would find the answer to this. What is the very best AI for video generation and content creation? Now, one thing is just to hit this button and see what comes up, but it's another thing to hit this research. And you know what else I'll do? That is a
What about prompt perfector?
exactly
The prompt
that right
generator?
there. What do you call that, Casey? That's called a dime.
The prompt perfector
That is called a 10-cent prompt. So let's make it into a $10 prompt or $20 prompt by saying prompt optimizer. And I won't turn on research because it doesn't need a research. It already has this thing, and I've uploaded all the white papers on prompt generation, so I don't have to read them. I give it to AI, and I tell AI to perfect the prompt based on hundreds of pages of white papers from Google, from Claude, whatever, and it will turn this prompt into something beautiful.
So while this is like working, let me just go off of the things that Darren just spoke about. Based upon Darren and I talking in Orlando, what he just mentioned about the prompt perfecter, when we were talking about building that and like what he had and all of that, I have built so many other skills from that point to the white papers, that point to all of these other big research areas. And I've built like a QA, I've built an optimizer, like a QA that will actually work in unison with the prompt perfecter, and it goes and it gives another rating of like how good of a prompt was that actually, or how good were the results, and it will continue to keep on working, give you that rating of out of 10.
So I came across this repo today. It's called, where is it? Spielberg. And it's out on GitHub. And what I did is I'll take somebody's repo and I'll fork it, and I'll like put my own tweaks in. And so I'm going to say ultra. So I just did several things. Number one, I did an effort and I put it up into ultra code. What that does is called it's called ultra code, but it uses what's called workflows, and it will spin up dozens or hundreds of AI agents to get a job done. And Anthropic, every once in a while, they just feel like being kind and they'll just reset all your credits. My credits reset tomorrow at noon, and I was like 80%. And this morning they just reset them, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
So it's not every 5 hours for you?
What?
So like the reset for me on Claude Enterprise is every 5 hours I get a reset.
Well, I have my own 5-hour windows. Let me show you what that looks like on a max plan. So I go over here to usage. And for the whole, now, yeah, here's my 5-hour window. And I never hit that unless I just spin up 20 things. But it's the if you have the $20 plan, I have 20 times that amount. So that's probably why I never had that problem with the 5-hour window. What I pay attention to is the weekly usage. So I was up to 80-90% like on Tuesday, and it resets on Sunday for me. And I think it's based on when you first sign up. So your day of the week might be different. So I was like 80%. I'm like, I gotta lay off because I need to have it for like things, and I can't be willy-nilly out here just opening up teams of agents to tackle a dad joke,
Yeah.
But then they said it this morning, and I've tried my hardest to spend all this by tomorrow at noon, and I guess I'll tell you how close I get. But I have 15 hours to use up the rest of this. So I'm just like turning up all the dials.
It's really interesting because like Enterprise is different. So what I have for Enterprise, it's okay if I share my screen just really quickly and I'll show you what it is.
Let me.
So I think Claude.
And Sanchez, we are going to get, because I see a few of your things here. Let's see. Also, here she said, "Can you tell me about the code?" Okay, is that the same thing? It looks like it. Okay.
Yeah,
we're definitely
we don't have the one. Yeah. I don't know why like it won't show like the Claude app.
Yeah.
Let me see. Maybe I can do this. Claude window. Okay, there we go.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Let me turn mine on.
Can you see it? Yeah, there we go. So like you can see my usage limits enterprise. You can see the current session resets in 2 hours, 10 minutes, 4% use. But showing for the weekly limits, it only shows cowork. I've never used cowork, which
You need to.
think could be a good episode for you to show me. Although the reason someone told me, his name is Darren, that cowork, and that's the cliffhanger. Guess what Darren says for our next episode?
I love
Cowork is for what?
it. We'll tell you as soon as we come back from this promoted video. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, so they're offering to, and it's only good until I think the end of this month sometime, but they're making cowork 50% off on your tokens, but yeah, I realized that my wife works for a company and they have an enterprise account, and she has the same thing. She doesn't have a weekly thing, and they keep on having to up the thing because I keep on going. I'm like, hey, you should try to do this instead. She works for a software company. She's not a developer. She's in marketing, but I'm like, you should do this and that. And then she like blows through all of her credits, and they keep having to like turn her dials up or something. But do you hit your 5 hour limit quite a bit with that?
Me? If I'm at work, yeah. So like mine's been reset many times, and I guess I have 4% from the time that we start talking. So resets in a couple hours.
Yeah.
But that's like the stuff that I do at work, depending on what I'm doing or what model I'm using. When I had Fable, like before they got rid of Fable, I would blow through that in an hour and a half, like just because it used that many more resources. But as far as what I was doing, I didn't need Fable. Like the models that I've been using the last like 6 months or so, like I've really not had like let's just say like Sonnet, right? Like when I was using Sonnet, it was blowing my mind. It was doing amazing things. And then like whatever, a couple months later, Opus 4.8 comes out. And I was like, boom, this is awesome. This is great. It's so much faster. The results I'm getting are so much smarter. It's better for deep research, all this. And then Fable came out like literally a month later. And I was like, well, what more do I need? But it's kind of like I talked to one of my colleagues at work. I said, it's like that fast car that like pulls up like, or you go to a car dealership. You want to drive that fast car. You want to like see what it can do. It's not like you need it, but you want to see what it'll do because it's fun.
Yeah.
If you like this stuff. Yeah, I guess if you're watching this, hopefully you like this stuff, because it'd be pretty stupid if you didn't like any of this stuff.
Well, what we'll do is we will, first of all, we'll read every comment that comes in on the because people will continue to watch this even though it's not live anymore, like on demand. And we'll look at all the comments for people's feedback. So please, guys, if you made it this far in the podcast, please let us know what you like the most out of this podcast. And then we'll focus on doing more of that. If the terminal scares you and everybody's scared about it, then maybe I won't bring up my terminal window as much, But
I think it's something just in general, and maybe it's just because we have the developer background, the two of us. like I love this stuff. Like this is an element that I've not touched yet. But again, this is also things. I feel like every time I talk to you, there's more ideas that get generated in my head, and like not just only to help me, but like my company and where I work at. Like this is the type of stuff. Like we've had people that do AI. Like this is what we're doing with it. This is how it could be used, but I feel like there's not a very good like consensus of it. Of like here is an expert. Here are the things that he's using it for. How could we use this better? And like I really value like my office and the people that I work with, and like I love to bring like new things that help everybody out and make our company better as a whole, or my team as a whole.
Absolutely. Yeah, you told me you were doing all kinds of wild stuff with skills, and then you started sharing it with people, and now people are getting exceptional results with the skills that you're creating.
Yeah, but the skills that I'm creating, like they are developed off the skill that we like the prompt perfecter, prompt whatever optimizer, like that in Orlando we're sitting there just talking about. I'm like, oh yeah, well like this, and this, and you totally helped me with that, and like off of that, like everything just got better for me, and then I started to understand it better, and I've built so many things off of that. Like I said, there's another one that's like a QA optimizer of like if you're doing work that like
you need to send me that skill, man. You told me about that, and I need to throw that into my please.
But I do know like we're approaching about an hour and a half, and I think that we do have like a lot of thought and a lot of things that we can talk about and continue to go to. I guess my question is there any questions in the chat that anybody wants to leave now and that we could answer quickly in the next like 5 minutes? Otherwise, I think like
you tapping out on us, man?
I do have to. I do have another obligation. My dog is pushing for a walk, and it looks like you got another obligation as well.
Oh yeah, my kids. I need to put my kids down, but I could literally do this all day, man. I mean, there's so much.
Well, I think we can keep it good, and like I think where we're at was like a good start. And we can go from here, and like hopefully people leave comments and like let us know kind of what they're looking for, because I have a lot of questions still. And like again, like I know we could talk about this for hours, but I think for the people that are watching or that will watch, like we need to have it like be something that they want, you know, not just what we think that they want.
Absolutely, I completely agree with that. So here is, now this isn't the answer to Sanchit's question, but this is the prompt that I would use to find it out. So let me, okay, so I will relent as long as you send me your skills. What would you call it, the QA?
Let me see what it's called. And by the way, if you're not using skills, start using them. Skills is the businessman. So there was quality assurance, error checking, proofreading, fact checking, correctness of content. Always use it to catch issues before something ships. Like this is like something where I came up with it because I was working. I had like a high level person ask me to come up with how this particular thing works at work. And I started to look into it. I dug into it. I even looked at our user guide and tried to compare it to the user guide that was online. And it came back with completely, it was a hallucination, an AI hallucination. And if I had actually sent that to the person that was like asking for it, they wanted like a 5-page document with how does this stuff work in the system? Oh my God, it would have been a really bad thing for my career if I had done that. So the QA optimizer or reviewer came out of that to give you sources to make sure that you are looking at everything, like the ground truth, project knowledge, uploaded files, references. Yeah, so that's where that came from.
Yeah, so I'll let you go as long as you send that to me before you go.
All right.
Deal.
I'm sending it in your WhatsApp right now, brah.
And then do I have your permission to share it with the viewers?
Not yet.
Okay.
The only reason is because for another episode, I want to talk about how I think that like it's great that we can show this content and give that to other people and to like help others, but I also want to like figure out like where the line is of like if we work really hard on something, do we not want to have something back from it? Like monetarily wise, like I don't know. I don't know how it works, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did work very hard on that. Like again, Claude made it, right? But like
you probably put some blood, sweat, and tears in it, you know.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
I mean, we haven't really talked about any of this, so what's that?
It's the same way with all the stuff you have.
Yeah, there's a website out here, and I think it's great for both the seller and the buyer. So you can go here. Let me log in. And I think this is my account here. Oh, I got to have a token. Why? Is it really that important? Anyway, it's gumroad.com. And a lot of guys, they'll provide a lot of things for free. And then if you want like the really advanced stuff, you pay something for it, and you either take it or leave it. But most guys out here, they offer a lot of stuff for free. And that's typically what I like to do. I don't, even with my Power Apps material. Are you still there? Did you leave me? Maybe you run out of energy or something there on your laptop, but so yeah, I'll talk to you about that later. But yeah, the skill that he told me about looked really amazing, so I'm really excited about trying that out. All right, so what I'm doing on the video question, and this is a great question, something that I'm like very interested. Okay, there you are. I thought that was what do you call that? An Irish exit? If I'm at a party, that's what I like to do, because as an introvert, I know you're an extrovert, or at least I think you are, right? When I try to make an exit, I've got to say bye to like 10, 20 or more people, and that just starts up a new conversation, and then I never get out of there. So I just like zoop. I thought that's what you did. Or you chased down that guy that was on the what do you call that? The little zipper-do tricycle, motorized Segway. Yeah, not a tricycle, a bicycle, but wheels on the side.
So I've actually figured out what I am, because you always say I'm an extrovert. I'm a mix of an introvert and an extrovert, and what that is called is an ambivert.
Oh, okay.
Look it up.
I think you mentioned that before.
I did send that skill. I don't know if you got it.
Claude Code directed this. You're AI software engineer. Lights, camera, Claude. Let's do that one. Okay, let's do a 30-second teaser. And this Alienware laptop, it's got a nice video card in it. It's the most capable computer, but I spilled a bunch of like green tea on it, sweetened green tea, and so the keyboard of it stopped working. So I really don't use it as much, but plug in a keyboard and it works just fine. But so I'm trying to show some of what I've been using for video generation, and I haven't found exactly what works best for me for what I need to do. But so we got dark cinematic. That sounds great. Let's do that. Okay. So what I have here, it's the same laptop. I've got 2 Claude Code sessions going. They're using completely 2 different code bases to generate videos, and we'll see what that comes out with. Now, I pay for Claude Code, but these two, this, let me see here. Content Crusher is my creation. I use Claude Code and I say, hey, I want to create content, blog entries, videos. So it'll do blog entries and web pages and all kinds of stuff. So that's something I created with Claude Code. But over here, this is something I found on GitHub, and then I extended it or forked it. And then what we also have is, let me go back over here to, where did I do that? Let's go to the chats. There we go. And this is the thing you do with research, and it's going to take a little while, to come up with it, but you can actually see what it's doing. And what you could do is you could tell it what video card you have. Now, the question that they might have, maybe they're not looking to run stuff locally. They're just wanting to, pay $20 a month, $100 a month in order to use some service. That would be the easiest thing. But for me, I always think about the long term. Hey, this isn't really sustainable. I'm going to run out of money before I create anything. But I was hoping this would, of course, it's only been 5 minutes. But I want to be respectful, Casey, of your time, and also your doggy that needs a bathroom break and a walk. So we can, I think I might stay on just to see what the result is so I can share that, and then I'll be closing it up after that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks again, Darren. It was good doing this. I know it was like our first time, so hopefully it will get better. I mean, hopefully people liked it and everything, but I appreciate this, and I think that it's kind of it's a catchy topic, how to keep it with AI without drowning. Like, we definitely don't want to drown, and that's not where anyone wants to be, but just because you feel like you're drowning, I don't think that means you actually are with this stuff. If you're looking into it and you're learning just even a little bit a week, I think also kind of the hook on this was spend 3 hours a week working on it. If you don't have 3 hours, spend 30 minutes. Go in and just play around with it and come up with whatever you can come up with. And in any avenue, it doesn't have to be work. It can be, how do I put fertilizer on my grass, which that's another thing I actually learned a lot about. I have a lawn care business, which I've used AI a lot for. But anyway, thanks again. I appreciate it, Darren. Hopefully everybody liked it, and we'll make episode 2 on something. Let us know, people.
We have lots of topics to talk about. I mean, we could have gone for 10 hours on this, man.
Yep. All right,
man. I'll let you go. Thanks,
buddy. I appreciate it. And
talk to you later.
All right, buddy. Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye. All right. Now, I will stick on, like I mentioned a moment ago, to see what the result is for Claude Code's research. And I have a decent idea of what it will say. I would say that I've actually tried a lot of the tools out. So if you go over here to gemini.google.com, and let's go over to videos. Okay, now let's create a video about someone having a hard time catching up with AI each day. I'm going to say make it a short story with a plot twist at the end. How about that? All right. And we'll make it this landscape. That looks good. And why not include a photo? Let's put Casey's photo in there. Let's make the story about him. Now, I think I've got like let me click on that. Let me click on this and see what comes up. because I'm able to use this and it's a decent amount of use. Now, it's not my daily driver like Claude is for me, but let's see where I'm at. What am I paying right now? Yeah, I don't think this is the right account. Okay, it's generating a video, so it's going to take some time. I think I'm paying, I think it's looking at the wrong Google account there, but I believe that I am paying $50 a month, and they give me 8 or 10 terabytes of space, and they give me a bunch of AI credits. And it's enough to do some interesting stuff. Oh, look at this. Here's Casey. There's a 10-second video. And what I'll need to do in order to share this with you guys, you know what I'll do? I'll download it and then upload it. How about that? This will be fun. And then Casey won't feel like he's left out because we made a video about him. All right, so I am going to upload a video clip. And it's going to upload, and then it's going to process it. And while that's doing that, look at that. You've reached your video generation limit. You can generate 2 more videos today. Okay, what about this? I'll upload a photo of me. Make a similar video, but with this guy instead. And if you go over to these drop downs, you'll notice there's different levels. So what happens if I change this to 3.5 thinking? Let's do that. And we can tell what the difference is. All right, so I'm ready to show this video. Here we go. Hopefully it's got audio in it.
Another day, another AI update. How do I keep up? Initiating update. Jew grade.
That was awesome. All right, let's see what it does with me there. So you've got that. Also check out, now Claude doesn't do any type of video generation. However, it's good at creating the code to do it or have co-work that has skills to create it. But if you're just looking for a simple, easy tool to use, you go in here and let's say create a I was pretty sure I saw video in here. Okay. Now, Manus is another tool I use. I'll show you what I've been able to create with that. And I'll open this up, and I will go to my library. Now, these are the things I've generated with Manus. Now, one of the things I love to create are slide decks. Now, that's just one image. If I were to go open that up, it's going to have more of it. So websites. Now, earlier in the podcast, I was showing off things that I've created with AI. Oh, look, there's me. I'll download that guy. Another thing over in school, which is where I have a community. Let's see, support. Nope. Hopefully one of these will work. And I'll put in here, Darren. I'll log in there. That doesn't work either. Gee whiz. Oh, I got quite a few. Well, I'm going to have to come back to that. Okay, so here is... I created some videos. That's why I pulled up the Manus. If you want to know about AI, there are two systems or two open source projects, one called Anything LLM and one called Open Web UI. And I created a slide deck that goes over that. This is a slide deck style I really liked. So anyway, I'll get out of that, and I'm trying to find that video. And created a lot of apps with Manus. You probably saw some of them as I was scrolling through here. Oh, what about this? Cool. I messed that up. Yeah, this thing is really interesting. How about that for a thumbnail? And let's keep going here. I created a website for myself, darreneast.com. I created a website for a Santa portrayer. We did a business partnership where this is a software as a service. If you want to check that out, that is santabook.app. So if you're a Santa portrayer or a Mrs. Claus or an elf, this is a software as a service that will manage your whole business. So if you can imagine all your calendar stuff, all your contacts, payment processing, everything. And we did all that with Claude Code. Okay. Now this was really cool. This is a skill that I created that you take a picture of anything. So this is my car. I've got a Mazda Speed 3, and it creates this visual diagram here. And I had a little battery bank. I mean, these things are great. And hopefully I'll find that video really quick here. Yeah. I may not be able to find it quickly. So we got so much stuff I've done in Manus. Okay, so ChatGPT can create videos. So it's saying that it can. So I'm going to go over to what we just did here. I'm going to upload this video so we can take a look at that. Okay. The guy looks a lot more attractive than me. So we used AI to generate these images of ourselves. He sent me a great headshot, and he said that was when he's doing keto. He's losing a lot of weight, and he said I actually look a lot thinner than what I did in that photo. So I said, take off 10 pounds. Let's see, where is the prompt? Here we go. Create a video about someone having, okay, there we go. And I'll go over here, and then I'll give it one of these images. And I'll turn all the settings up. Ooh, intelligent. Oh, that's just a label. These are the choices. And I don't see video. Okay. I'm just going to hit the button there and see what it comes up with. Now, you guys ready to see the video that I created with myself? Here we go.
Another day, another AI update. How do I keep up? Update complete.
That's hilarious. Okay. Let's see what Claude came back with. Okay. So here is what it's saying. Wow. So if you ever see a term called FOSS, that's free or open source. So I have never heard of that. I'll have to try that out. VO 3.1. Now, if I do a Google search on that, oh, there it is. Oh, this does look nice. Get started. And let's see if this is any different than what it created for me here. And I'm going to upload an image. This time I'll give it the one of me. And then I'll paste that in there. And Google has so many services, it seems like they overlap. And I find that confusing. You know, over here, well, I don't want to look at that. Gemini.google.com. Over here, I've got AIstudio.google.com. What's the difference? It's a great question. It's still Google, right? Okay, then over here, you see this? It says Pro. So they give me some API usage. So maybe that's, yeah, it says Pro here. So I'm not sure. But if I go back, so VO 3.1 via Google AI Pro is $20 a month. Talking head avatar. So for your open source, you got sad talker, live portrait. So I wasn't even aware of these things. Okay, so I'm going to publish this for you guys. And I'm going to share the link in the chat. Okay, there we go. So you guys can see this. Now, OpenAI has, I think they abandoned Sora. So just FYI on that. Another good one is if you want to clone your face, HeyGen and Synthesia. This one's really expensive when I looked into it. And it says $22 a month. So anyway, maybe we could have a whole session just based on this. 11 Labs is good for text-to-speech or voiceovers. And let me go over another tool I use is called Open Router. And this is something where you can use all of the models. And what you do is you just pay them put some credit on your account, and then whatever you use just goes against the credits that you have. So if I go over to models and I say, and I think they have like 300 or 400 different models. And I go out here and I say, video. There we go. So they have 14 models that will generate videos. And we could write a little app with Claude code that would use these. And so what I could do is I could screenshot this. It allows me to here. Let's see. So click my print screen is working right now, but let me go back over here. So let me go back over to Claude Code, and I can show you what we were able to do. Okay, so it's still generating the video there. And this one is done, maybe, hopefully. Holding for the scene build agent. All clear. Nothing needed. Later on. Where's the video file? So what I can do is go into File Explorer here. And this is Content Crusher. The final video isn't rendered yet. Now, I use Content Crusher for a video that I did for one of my businesses. And if I can find it real quick, I'll share it with you. Yeah, it may take a little bit too long to find that unless I can see it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I definitely wanted to finish up before 9 p.m. So we just have another minute or two. I was hoping that I'd be able to have it generate these two videos. But what we can do a follow-up video on these, and I can show what we have and maybe do a full rundown on what I recommend for video generation. It comes down to what type of videos you're trying to create, and finding the right tool for that specific type of video. That's the advice that I would give for that. Okay, now let's see if there's it generated some stuff. Go into projects. Here we go. Santa book. There we go. So, assets. Okay. As long as these are short, I can show you what Content Crusher was able to do with this. I will add a video. Let me see if I can copy that. Okay, I'm going to go with the smallest one. Hopefully that is the shortest one. And that will be available and played about 10 or 15 seconds. At least it seems like it. Okay. It's about 60% done processing. And I will tell you that creating videos does take time. It's probably the most intensive thing that you can do, up there with video games and running LLM models. So, and if you're curious about how many resources it's using up, pretty much using up all my memory there. Now the GPU is not really being pegged too much. I would almost expect it to be using more of that. But yeah. Okay, so it looks like the video is ready to go. So I'm going to play this. And this, again, is a video that I made for the Santa portrayal business called santabook.app. And I created it with this guy, Content Crusher. Here you go. This is one Santa's whole December. Every single one of these visits booked itself.
and we're in June. Most Santas spend December drowning in texts, missed calls, and chasing people for money in January. This Santa doesn't. No free trial. No waiting list. No application needed. You're in today. Solo is $29, professional $49. Agencies get a whole roster. Find it at app.santabook.app.
Which I really didn't. It cloned my voice fairly well. That's about the only thing I was impressed with with that. So there's some more work. So I have to give it good feedback, and it's got some what you'd call auto or self-improvement, automatic self-improving that you can utilize within a repository like this. But I think I'm going to cut it off there. I'm sort of sad Casey isn't here with us, but we can leave it off with Casey having the final word here.
Another day, another AI update. How do I keep up? Initiate